Down air gets him off stage. He hasn't been able to find one of those side Bs to follow up. Oh, that does it!
Oh, Lord.
Holy shit!
Here first, folks.
What an option!
And this is not looking good, though. Wang's tournament on the line and dies to... Nope, does not die to dash back. Dies to fire. It is burnt down. All of his hopes and dreams of being a Baddy Smash Good.
Too bad for you.
Yeah,
Torched.
too bad for you indeed.
Welcome to the Baddy Cafe. This is Chai, and I am here with a special replacement host, YIFF Underachiever.
It's me. I'm excited to be here.
It's our boy. Unfortunately, Albino Joe was not able to make it for this recording session, but we got a good substitute.
Yeah.
All right. So speaking of Albino Joe, though, let's talk about our showcase player. It's the co-creator of the show, Albino Joe.
Hey, that guy.
Usually, when we try to have a showcase player, Reaver, maybe someday you'll be a showcase player.
No, that's only for the good players.
Actually, you already were a showcase player. What the hell am I talking about?
Oh snap!
Yeah, watch our show. You'll find out. But there are some, there were 5 games where one person just beat down their opponent.
Yeah.
However, there was one game in the regular round 1 where we were very, very close to an upset. Albino Joe going against one of the top contenders who win this entire thing, Candy Jack, took him to game 3, which is a lot better than probably any of us thought he was going to do.
Yeah, that was an insane game. I remember watching the first round, and I thought for a split second when it first started, I was going to see the boomerang combos come from Candy, and then just it ends from there, because that's how it usually goes with me. But Albino was on his game, man.
Yeah, he really abused that reflector and then just spaced him out well. And
That was killer.
I think we're going to talk about it later, but a theme of that week 1 was that some of the people we referred to as some of the gods of this league, they can bleed. But Bravery, you want to tell us a little bit about Albino Joe?
Yeah, I like talking about Albino Joe. I think he's a really cool dude. I'm not a big fan of the character he picks because I don't like that up air. But I heard he has a pretty cute, adorable little dog. I don't know the breed. Do you know the breed?
No, but I hear it when we record. It barks sometimes, and I hear it, and it sounds cute.
Oh, that is cute. I do know that he's Division 1. Has he been Division 1 since the start of the whole Baddy Empire?
Since they started making divisions like that, yes. So for the past 2
Awesome.
seasons, he was D1.
Big old granddaddy D1.
Yeah. Many of you know that he holds the land speed record for mashing his controller,
Oh my god.
and that he's actually been one of the more consistent high-level players in the league and has placed in top 8 in every appearance he's had in Baddy Smash since he started playing in Season 2.
Wow, look at you go. I do feel like we throw out KKs, we throw out duds, we throw out certain extents to mad cows, all sorts of these like names that we associate with these players of Kaiser, I would argue this season 2 of like these really good players. And I don't feel like Joey gets enough love because he does show up sometimes and he does lay the smackdown.
Yeah, it's he's Mr. Consistent, we can at least say that. So, Albino Joe, congratulations, you are one of our showcase players.
Yay!
All right. So in general, though, let's talk a bit more about this upcoming week. Let's talk about this bracket. All right.
Oh boy, the bracket.
So, cat's out the bed. Head Reaver, you missed a few of the matches,
Yeah.
but I know you didn't miss KK Lars.
No.
When I
That
said
was,
gods could bleed, this is an example of that scenario.
Yeah, I really liked it. I kind of knew the outcome from the start, though. As much as I do like Lars and how he just throws his weight around, I kind of knew KK would just stomp him. Not stomp, but
Yeah, here's the thing. When we think about him stomping him, we thought probably that it wouldn't even be close, that he'd be in the category where he dumpstered his opponent, but no. It went to last stock both games. It was a close set. And if it showed us anything, I mean, if you look at, we have the image of the first week results posted on the video here. Lars actually didn't even make it past losers round 1, but he showed, even with all that said, that KK, he can be beat. Again, we put KK on a pedestal every now and again, but he also had to play 4 elimination games throughout his run through losers to eventually become last season's champion. So don't be scared when you play this man. He's good, yes, but he is also beatable. And Lars helped prove that once more.
Yeah, he took a big chunk from that pedestal, and hopefully one of us can topple it.
All right. I want you to talk a bit more about this one, another match we had, because he's one of your boys. Tell me about the Mad Cow Blaze match. How do you think he did, and do you think he was, what were the odds you think he was going to be able to beat Mad Cow?
So I actually went into this match and I told Blaze, I think you can beat Mad Cow. You're just going to have to slow down and know he'll play equal parts. Mad Cow can play equal parts patient and aggressive, and he can kind of switch it up on the fly, which I think is really nice. But I don't know. That was a real nail biter the whole time. And I didn't know who to root for. Because at the same time, I kind of want to see Mad Cow keep going because of last season. Everyone said he just had an easy bracket, but I kind of want him to prove himself this time. But I also wanted to see Blaze just suplex him into the next week.
Yeah, well, close game as well. Went to game 3. The Mad Cow and KK, they're facing off this upcoming week, and boy oh boy, they were grand finals last season. It's gonna be fun to watch them again.
I'm pretty pumped.
All right. Candy Jack, Albino Joe, we've already talked about. But again, Candy Jack, even if he looked like he might have slipped it away, he still stayed consistent, still won. You're facing off Disenchanted. I don't know what kind of Zero Suit Samus experience he has, but if Disenchanted could keep his cool, like he did against Mai Wang in a close game 3, and throughout Disenchanted's history, throughout this season, close games, keeps his cool. Let's see how he does against Candy Jack. Do you think he's got a chance?
With Zero Suit, I think he has a pretty decent shot. He'll have to outspace and outtime that boomerang, because I think if he can dodge that a lot, he can kind of work around Candy and get where he needs to be. But if he doesn't, I don't know, man. That boomerang, I feel like it wins games. It hurts.
It does. And even though, as stated on the stream, Disenchanted, the Zero Suit, small character, small brain, was able to beat the god, big brain Mai Wang. He's showing some of the promise we thought he would have at the beginning of the season, before he started to slip into Swiss and just had a rough time.
I feel like Disenchanted always needs a little bit of wake up time. I feel like he'll start playing Smash, and then he'll get his face beat in a few times, and he's like, "Oh yeah, that's right. I need to think a little bit." And so you can almost see every match Disenchanted plays when he starts thinking. I remember watching that match and just him going. I'm just sitting there. I'm like, dude, just shoot him with your gun. And the moment he whips out that neutral B, that whole match started to turn around. It was great.
So looking at the other half of the bracket, KK, Mad Cow, Candy on the one side of the bracket, it's a hard looking place to be. Let's look at this other half here. And speaking of hard place to be, I had you watch this match before we started recording.
Oh.
Tell me about the Kaiser Salvo match.
Man, okay. I want to first of all just say I love watching Salvo practice during the off season and see all the crazy stuff he wants to come up for. But man, that was a hard match to watch. I just thought Salvo had I saw some plays he was doing in the first round with Kaiser, but as soon as he tried to switch up, come at a different angle, Kaiser just knew that angle and was able to just instantly adapt and go from there.
We're going to talk about it later, but there's 2 types of beatdowns. Usually when someone just dominates the other player, it's either that the player just was swinging at him, mashing on him. The other player couldn't do anything about it. And then there's the other type of domination where it's a slow, meticulous picking apart that just makes you feel really, really dumb. Like you can't do anything. And that's kind of what we saw from Kaiser and Salvo. We just tore him to shreds piece by piece.
Yeah. Wolf claws are sharp.
Yes, they are. Speaking of sharp, this is a player that not many people knew about. We didn't get to see much of him on stream due to internet issues, but how much of Cax did you see before this match here against Molitor?
Cax and Moldzor, I was only able to watch the first couple blows of exchange, and then I had to address a very angry cat who needed food.
Gotcha. So here's what you missed.
Oh god, I'm excited.
Cax plays Lucas.
Okay.
Molitor plays Ganondorf.
Okay.
Basically, to sum up the match, so we can kind of accelerate through this segment, B button go brrr. That's all you need to know.
Sure it does.
And it was a rough old time for Molitor. I don't even know if he had Lucas practice. I don't know anyone who does have Lucas practice aside from me, because he used to be my roommate.
Yeah.
And just a few others of us. But yeah, B button go brrr.
That sucks. I need to go back and watch that.
All right. So, second to last match for that first round. You brought out the Joker. And
I did bring out the Joker.
How'd it go?
Joker went bad. Joker. I forgot about probably like 3 buttons. I forgot how to grab and I forgot how to gun down. I feel like if I had those 2 options just in my brain, I might have done a little better. But I've always been scared of Duds' Mewtwo and Falco. And I thought I was convinced that he was just gonna stomp my Diddy. So that's why I didn't go Diddy and I brought out Zelda. And I think Zelda worked out pretty good. I was really wary of that reflect of his. And I think if I did an SD, I don't think I would have won, but it would have been a closer match. Yeah, that was a classic case of Duds hurts my soul. And Mewtwo scares me. That tail is so long and it hurts.
It's a big boy.
It's a big boy.
And I'm going to have to be worried about him because I play him next round.
Have fun.
Yeah, Candy Jack Disenchanted, Kaiser Cax. Kaiser's going to need that Lucas practice, but me and Duds have played against each other so many times, whether it be at real-life tournaments, rip real-life tournaments, I'll miss you.
Oh, no.
Playing in person or playing online, it has to be at least 500-plus games.
Oh, jeez.
We know each other inside and out. We have counter picks for almost all of each other's characters. It's going to be a dice roll.
You guys can almost play the game without playing the game.
Yeah. I already told him that I'm going to be using Cloud exclusively throughout this entire tournament, so definitely don't want to place against that Mewtwo and Falco, but if you're going to make a stand like that, you got to win.
That's true.
Speaking of making a big impact, though, we're going to talk about this match later in our toss-up section. Cool. Me versus Ooga Booga. As I said, 2 different types of beatdowns. I kind of just pressed buttons on him, and he couldn't do anything about it, so...
Awesome. I'm excited to talk about that one.
Yeah. So let's look at losers round. A lot of these players, either they got destroyed or they survived and went on. Looking at it now, actually I was wrong. Forget I said anything. All the players who got dumpstered and went to losers continued to get dumpstered. Lars versus Blaze. Blaze decided to show that he's actually still pretty good at this game. He only lost 2.
That was sick. We had last year's new kid and this year's new kid fight.
Yeah. And we have the ascension of the new kid.
The new kid. The newest kid.
And a common theme through all 3 of these losers games, the person who won only lost 2 stocks through the entire set.
Really?
Yep. This is... When I counted the amount of times people got dumpstered, so I keep on saying this term, I qualify being dumpstered as only losing 2 or less stocks.
Yeah.
Like both games weren't close. And we had 5 dumpsterings, 3 of which were all 3 of the matches in losers bracket. Blaze put the smackdown on Lars. Albino Joe was not merciful to my Wang at all. And then Salvo got a good old taste of up smash.
Yeah, up smash hurts. I would
Well,
like to point out with Albino and Wang in losers, that was when Wayton went Cloud, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he did have one of the coolest clips of the night.
Yeah. I tried to land like 5 finishing touches and I didn't land any of them, and he landed 2 in a match. It wasn't even fair.
He did one out of a ladder combo.
I know.
How?
I
That was
know.
sick as shit.
I take notes. He's a better Cloud than me.
Then he got dumpstered. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so these are the matches to look forward to. I have to say, we'll talk about it later, but there's a lot of good matches to look forward to. Especially the losers of 13 and 16, Blaze versus Mere Duds, and you
Ooh.
versus KK or Mad Cow. We'll see if the
Ow.
the underachiever anime redemption arc can keep going.
It's gotta. I have no choice at this point.
All right. So there were some things we didn't talk about, and we're going to talk about them now.
Yeah.
We got another classic segment coming back. We got the toss-ups, where I'm going to ask Reaver a couple questions. I'm going to have him elaborate.
Awesome. Let's get her going.
Mr. YIFF, toss-up. What's going to be a closer match next week? KK versus Mad Cow, or Duds versus Chai?
Ooh, that's a good one. I'm gonna say Duds versus Chai, and I'll say why after I explain why KK and Mad Cow will not be. I feel like KK and Mad Cow, it's gonna be an explosive match. I feel like one of them's just gonna stomp the other, and that'll be the end of that match. Whereas, like you said, you and Duds have such a history. I feel like it'll be almost like a smash chess match where you guys are out thinking each other. I mean, heck, you guys could probably just sit on the platforms, play the matches out mentally, and then just jump off stage where you need to be.
Yes, the telekinesis game, Professor X versus Magneto game.
Exactly.
I don't know. I'm saying it's going to be close. I actually think the match to watch is going to be KK Mad Cow, and here's why. I think I'm fully convinced now that Mad Cow did not feel like trying until the playoffs.
Yeah, maybe.
He's finally got the K rule that terrifies everyone. And I'm going to give you a little tips of the trade here.
Oh, gimme.
For those of you listening who want to beat KK and have this as an option, throughout all of Baddy Smash, KK's losses have almost exclusively come from heavy players.
Ooh.
Primarily G Harris and Mecha T.
So everyone's got to put on some weight and start throwing it around.
Yeah, if you got a heavy, square up against, use that against KK, because as he's shown, almost losing to Lars, having losses against G Harris and Mecha T in the past, he don't do too hot against heavies. If I can beat him with his own main in friendlies, pretty on and off,
Yeah.
he's got problems against heavies. So I actually think it's gonna be a fun one to watch to see how KK adapts to his kryptonite.
Yeah, that's true. That could change a lot of things up. I'm excited for that now.
Alrighty. Toss up number 2. Head Reaver.
Yeah.
We had 2 matches where the player only lost 1 stock when they played.
Oof. Okay.
Who beat down their opponent harder? Kaiser or Chai?
Oh man. Ooh, that's a toughie. I'm gonna go ahead and probably give it to you for one reason only, and that is yours was more condensed destruction, where every other input you put, I feel like just worked that man into the ground. Whereas Kaiser was very methodical and very good at his spacing, which is the way you beat someone down. But oh man, some of those spikes and back airs and those were really hard to hit Ooga Booga with.
I'm gonna give credit to Kaiser for one reason. And I can't say for sure how Ooga Booga felt after he lost. He didn't come back to play a second game when we'll get to that. But when you lose, and I've lost this way before, when you lose to someone the way that Salvo lost to Kaiser, I can't imagine how frustrating that has to be.
Yeah.
Because if you're getting bopped just because you're getting hit after hit after hit and it's just happening and you can't do much about it, you're like, well, I gotta say I just got my ass kicked, right?
Yeah.
But if you're torn apart and it's slow and it's done meticulously, you have like this rage, this anger building up in you. Just let me, I'm trying, and I think I see it. I don't want to do it. I'm gonna try something new, and I can't fucking do it. I'm stuck. Those are the losses where you like, I just want to quit this game. I'm done.
Yeah, that's
I
a good
can't
point.
play.
That's a really good point. There is a difference between just annihilated in 2 minutes, but just have your morale ripped from your body over the course of 10 minutes.
All right, and toss up number 3. In the losers bracket, there are 2 hard routes and there are 2 easier routes. Who has an easier route through losers bracket? Mulletzor or Albino Joe?
Ooh. Ooh, okay, I'm gonna give it to Mulletzor. I think he has the easier bracket right now.
For those of you watching, if you want to go look at the bracket again, Mulletzor has to fight the winner of Candy Jack, the loser of Candy Jack and Disenchanted. I actually think this is no contest after looking at this again.
Mm-hmm.
Albino Joe fights the loser of Kaiser Cax. I'm pretty sure Cax is going to lose that one. It'll be a relatively even one, but I forget that Mulletzor has beaten Disenchanted before.
He has, but I think of it this way, where Mulletzor has to either fight Disenchanted or Candy, and Mulletzor knows. I think Mulletzor can take Disenchanted every other day, and I don't know how often he plays against Candy, or how well he can play against Candy, but I do know they play together, so that's at least some insight. Whereas Albino Joe has nothing against Cax, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
And I think Kaiser's on a hot streak this season, so Albino definitely has the worst of the two. You know what? Maybe I'm gonna give it to Albino. No, Mulletzor has the easier route.
And we'll see how far that up smash can get him. If you guys want a fun game at home, take a drink every time he uses up smash.
But I want to keep my liver.
All right. You ready for the fan favorite segment?
Yeah.
It's the good, the bad, and the baddie. All right. We were talking about this a little bit so far, but Mr. YIFF, you want to tell us about what was the good part of last week?
We had some really fun games, and when we went over on our time, people felt the need to do a self-sacrifice and just let their opponents destroy the shit out of them so we can gain some minutes on our speedruns.
Yeah, so aside from what we'll be talking about in the bad, we ended up our last scheduled match right on time. Even if we had close games, we had just an equal amount of games where someone just got squashed to get us right on track. So, boys and girls out there who got their ass beat, know that you did it for a greater good.
That's something, right?
Yeah. Yeah, we had 5 dumpstrings, 4 close games, just about even out of the
no
11 games.
No one lost. People just wanted to keep the stream on track.
Yeah, they're winners in our hearts. All right, but now for the bad. I think you have some splaining to do.
I've decided as co-host we skip this, right?
No?
Okay.
No.
So this was a matter of...
What's the bad?
Yeah, that's me. This was a matter of just a shit situation being shittier. So I don't know how many of you out there like regularly go on Discord on the PC and your phone at the same time. I had to help my roommate do the dishes since she cooked and then put the dishes away. I had to eat some dinner. And for the life of me, I thought the last game was Salvo versus Moltzor. I assumed that was the last game of the night. But I was like, I don't want something crazy happening, so I'll keep my phone on me in case someone on Discord needs to get a hold of me. I was smart in the aspect of that preparation. I was dumb in the fact of if you leave Discord window open on your desktop, all the notifications that you get just go to the desktop. It does not go to your mobile device whatsoever. So little old me comes up, looks at my computer. I have 18 missed messages. I was like, oh, does something cool happen to me? And it didn't take much for me to realize, oh no, I'm screwed. I'm out. But luckily for me, I think you banished Ooga Booga to the Shadow Realm.
I hope that's not the case. I want to see him play next season because I think they're saying it on the stream too. He's closeted good. People forget that he's good.
Oh yeah.
He just had a bad game. I hope he's not stuck in the Shadow Realm. Hopefully Yugi and the gang can get him out if that's the case. But yeah, you got there first.
Yeah. By the hair on my chinny chin chin.
Yep. So you get to survive for this round. I hope you prep for your game against either KK or Mad Cow, because you're on borrowed time.
Exactly. I have made it further than I would have without you, Ooga Booga. This is for you.
All right. You know how you wanted to skip the bad segment?
Yeah.
I want to skip this segment. So the baddie, in baddie tradition, there are blood feuds.
Oh yeah.
I was feeling myself. You know,
yeah, you were.
I've beaten
wink, wink,
YIFF
nudge, nudge.
times before.
Yeah.
I've beaten him in blood feuds.
Yeah.
This'll be easy.
Easy peasy.
It's his game Rivals of Aether. He's better at it than I am. But initially, the stakes were pretty small for me and pretty bad for him.
Yeah.
If he would have lost, he would have to stream himself playing Lovers of Aether, the furry dating sim created from the same creators of Rivals of Aether, and they use their characters, and you can take them to the school dance at the end of the game. Nothing crude, just a fun little jaunt. But
jaunty fun.
if he won, he would have a small 5-minute spot on the show.
Yeah, nothing major.
Well, because Albino Joe couldn't make it today, had Reaver got an hour-plus long spot on the show. Which means I had to come up with something, and I was like, you know what? Whatever. If I lose, I have to stream Lovers of Aether. That was a baddie decision. That was a baddie decision.
Who you taking to the dance?
I don't know.
Who's your first instinct? Is it Crag? It's got to be Crag. You got to at least pursue your main.
It might be. We'll see what their models look like. We'll see which ones look cute. I can't believe I'm saying this.
I know.
I'm not allowed. I shouldn't be allowed to host the show anymore. I will put a set date in the Rivals of Aether Discord channel as to when I'm going to stream it. I have to get my equipment set up. But thankfully, it's a game that doesn't have a lot of processing power that you need. So it should run easy enough for me to stream on my computer.
I almost want you to like break it up in sections and I can just watch the story unfold with the podcast every week. I think.
The problem with that is this is our second to last episode, so.
Oh shit, you're right.
Yeah.
Oh no, now I'm sad.
So far, folks, thank you for viewing. Again, this is our second to last episode. But there is something you look forward to.
Oh?
Because before we go into our interview with T2 Slade,
that guy,
game developer and caster extraordinaire, I would like to thank our sponsor for this episode.
Who is it?
The Achievers mascot and Fursona costume company. Do you have that YIFF deep inside you? Do you want to show it to the world? Do you want it made by people who don't know how to make those? We got a team for you. The skilled artisans, and by skilled I mean not skilled, of Chai and YIFF Underachiever will happily make costumes for you where we just find fake fur and throw it on some duct tape and call it a costume. And you can show your inner fursona out to the world.
I used to be a lonely gamer, and then I went to Achievers YIFF Costume Company, and now I'm a lonely wolf.
I didn't know they could get scales to make me a gecko, but now my inner bearded gecko can shine and I can be myself.
My favorite animal was a dolphin, and then I realized what a blowhole was really for.
Again, this is the Achievers Fursona Costume Creation Company.
Get your YIFF out.
Please don't call that number. I actually just made up one and
I
didn't
was
check
going to
that was
say,
a
wait a
real
second,
number.
there wasn't 555 in that.
I'm going to put a giant beep in there to omit that number. Or visit us at our website, achieversfurries.com, and if you use our affiliate code, please kill me, you'll save 50%. Again, that is underachieversfurry.com.
Promo code, please kill me.
Thank you for our sponsor, and we will get to our interview. Welcome to the interview section of the Baddy Cafe. This is Chai.
And YIFF.
We are here today with T2 Slade. T2 on his some of his free time. He likes to cast games of Baddy Smash, and he likes to work on game development. I don't know if that's there's more to the man than just that, but T2, that's kind of the reason why I wanted to talk to you and have you on the show is because you have an insight on games that many people don't have. So the first question I'd like to just lead off with is you both just feel free to introduce yourself, kind of because I kind of skipped that section, and tell us about the core feeling of what it's like to develop video games.
All right. Well, first of all, thanks for having me on today, guys. Anyone who's been in the Baddy League probably knows at least a little bit about me, but a lot of people do not know about the game development part. So I guess to answer your first question, I would say it's stressfully gratifying to work on video games. Like a lot of people get this impression that working on games is all fun and stuff, but honestly, it's not. It's an incredible amount of work. It truly is a job, and we are constantly coming across problems that you just can't Google. Like, let me put it this way for you guys. Think about it this way. Imagine you two are car mechanics, right?
Mhm.
And you both have a decent understanding on how cars work. Like maybe you're even good enough to put a car together from scratch. Like you guys are that good.
Ooh, okay.
And then I jump in and I'm like, okay, so we need to make that car drive on walls. You guys got to figure that out.
Yeah, you can't Google that.
Do the walls have to be on the ground or in a wall-like fashion, or can I just lay the wall down?
If you lay the wall down, that becomes a ground. But I mean, those are the things you have to answer. Like, how does the car get on the wall in the first place? Does it need a ramp to get on the wall? Like, I don't know. Maybe you put wheels on the front of it or something so it can drive up the wall. Like things like that. Like, and then after you find that out, there'll be more problems that are going to come up. Like now that you're on the wall, how do you stay on the wall? I know this is kind of a weird example, but that's like what game development is. You get these problems that you can't Google, problems that no one else has ever had, and you literally have to just deal with it. You have no idea what you're doing, and you just have to figure things out.
It probably feels remarkably good when you do figure it out, though.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like despite, I started this on a kind of a negative note, but despite that, like when you overcome those problems and you have a product that you're proud of and that you enjoy playing, it is absolutely the best feeling in the world. Like I've literally been brought to tears while watching people play test a game that I've worked on.
That's awesome.
All right. So as you know, this is Baddy Smash. T2, you also play Smash Ultimate. And there's a lot when it comes to a video game, like the sound, the music, the aesthetics, there's so much like the visuals that tell you something with whether or not something's happened. There's there's so much to just any game that you can't even list it all without missing stuff. But I'd like to ask you just a little bit about Smash Ultimate, the game that we all play, that is relevant to the people watching this show. From a game development standpoint, just at a kind of an open-faced question, what are some of the aspects of Smash Ultimate that you like?
Well, when you start working on games, you definitely start paying attention to minor details a lot more. And one thing that I'll start with things because there's a lot of things that we all like about Ultimate together. But I'll try to start with some of the more niche things. And for example, Ultimate does a phenomenal job of conveying information that you don't even think about. There are things like when you grab someone, there is a certain I'm gonna call it a spark effect that appears when you grab someone, and even though you don't notice it, eventually your mind comes to identify that. So animation alone might not be enough to tell you that you just got grabbed or you just accomplished your grab. Things like that you unconsciously think about. Like there's an effect for fast falling if you pay attention. Just these little things that mark, like when you grab a ledge, there's a mark. When you do a ledge get up, there's a little mark that appears. Like all these things that you don't think about. When you tech, when you roll, there's so many of these small things that they do that you unconsciously take in, and it lets you read the game way better. And I've played worse games that don't do that, and that's when you really start to appreciate it. But besides that, I mean, Ultimate is a phenomenal game. Some of my favorite parts is it doesn't require much mechanical skill to get into the game. Like mechanically, it's like a 5-button game. Just jump, attack, specials, shield, and grab. It's basically all you need to learn the game. There's no like crazy controls that you have to do. You don't have to learn how to left trigger or jump, left trigger, hold slightly left into a move. Like it's simple, and despite how simple it is to play, it's an incredibly deep game. It takes an insane amount of time and effort to get good at it, which makes it just competitively incredibly viable and good in that aspect.
Makes sense. I like you explained the buttons of like grab, jump, hit, special hit, and meanwhile I'm over here like grab. Why do you want to use grab? Grab's a bad move.
Says the rival player.
Yeah.
I'm actually
grab.
Yeah. Rivals with grab, that'd be a great game. Top
Rivals
tier.
is phenomenal on its own.
It is. I
but
just always try to grab in that game when it doesn't exist, and I feel dumb.
yeah, if you're familiar with the term footsies, that's how I would describe Rivals. It's more of a footsies game compared to the triangle of Smash. The grab beats attacks beat. I'm gonna get this wrong. Shield beats attacks beat grab beats shield. That triangle, I mean, that's a dumbed down version of Ultimate. Instead of having that, Rivals is more like footsie. Like you basically just play footsie until someone wins a neutral, and then bam, 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 bam.
Yeah, that's the way it should be. Every game should be like that.
Too complicated. I only want to focus on one aspect.
All right. I actually have a question that derives a little bit from asking some of the aspects of Smash Ultimate that you like. Because one of the things that I like is that it's really, really well balanced. Like, even the most dog shit characters still feel like playable characters. But I was thinking about it, because there's also a game that I played a while ago, and it had this, where it had just too many characters. There's a game called Mugen, and it was the originator of just create a character and anything can be a character, and you can have as many characters as you want. And then it just gets silly, because there's just so many things you have to learn. Or like playing MVC3 Ultimate, when every character, like every third character is a touch of death, and there's like 60 characters. From a perspective of having that many characters that are balanced in a game, is that overall good for the game's life cycle, or is that something that needs to be? Is there a point where there's too many characters?
That's definitely an objective question. Starting with Mugen and Capcom versus Marvel, in those situations, there are people who do enjoy that aspect. People who enjoy like getting punished and being, how could I have done, or what could I have done in that situation to do better? I would say it's definitely a minority of people who are that like devoted into learning the game. But what Ultimate does, Ultimate is very different because going back to the simplicity of Ultimate, generally if you learn one characters work pretty similar to each other. Like everyone again has specials, attacks, same grabs, whatever. There's no touches of death. There's nothing like unless you're versing KK's DK, you're probably not gonna have to worry about just like dying from nothing. Which leads to allow them to have that many characters without it being overwhelming. There's definitely still matchup experience you need to know, but it's way easier to adapt on the fly compared to Tekken, where you have to get bodied by a character several times before you can start beating them. Like
God, I love Tekken.
Tekken's a wonderful game. But wow, is it complicated?
Like when you're talking about you have to down trigger 2 buttons, wait a second, trigger. I was like, yo, he's talking about Tekken, isn't he? Yo, this is my game.
Yeah, I'm definitely interested in all fighting games, even the ones that might be too much commitment for me. I mean, Tekken would be great to play with some friends and stuff, but man, if you get into the competitive scene, wow, do you have to get used to getting your butt kicked?
Mm-hmm.
So that's everything you like, though. But what's some of the things you don't like about Smash? Is it banana? It's banana, isn't it?
It's banana.
I will say I'm not a fan of Slippy Kong. He's fun to watch, but man, is he annoying to fight.
Just don't get hit with banana.
True. Just get good, don't get hit.
Yeah, forehead.
But I guess there's two big things I can think of. Like I want to preface this by saying I do love Ultimate, because it might not seem that way after I say this, but there are two major things I do dislike about Ultimate, and it coincides with my playstyle, which is mainly aggressive and style, I would say. And the first thing is you can't shield during dash, which makes dash dancing just incredibly bad. They like added dash dancing to the game, and then they're like, you know what? Now it's bad. So if anyone, I guess to preface for the listeners, when you press forward, you go into a dash animation, and that animation goes into run. So it takes time before you can actually get into that run and shield. And because of that change that they made, because in Melee you can shield anytime. You can dash dance shield in the middle of it. But because of that change, walking is usually the optimal way to play against like zoner heavy characters, which is really counterintuitive to their weakness, which is getting close to them. So you're forced to play slow and walk towards them, or you can jump, but jumping limits your options heavily against zoners. So it just makes the zoning playstyle a little bit better, and it's not a playstyle I enjoy. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. It's just not something I enjoy.
Yeah,
so if anyone's wondering why zoners are really strong in Ultimate, that is the main reason. Is literally you can't shield during dash.
That makes sense. You can shield during walk, but you can also jump quicker. You can also roll if you need to. You can get to attack. You're not locked into that dash animation.
And that's what adds to like certain characters being even worse. Like to just pile on Little Mac even more. If you could shield out a dash dance, it'd be so good for that character because he goes so far with his initial dash. But because you can't, he's stuck in initial dash for so long and really can't do much out of it.
That character would look like Melee good because he'd move so quickly if you were able to just dash dance. But I guess, okay, so the second thing I dislike about Ultimate, I think I'll have to explain two things in order to convey that. The first is neutral and punish game. It's a term we use a lot when we're commentating, but I'm going to explain it just for anyone who, I know you two know what it is, of course, but for anyone who doesn't know, neutral game is basically when both opponents are staring at each other and you have to start choosing which option you want to do. Like, do you want to run at them? Do you want to shield? Do you want to do nothing? Do you want to jump? Do you want to throw a projectile? That's neutral. When both people are deciding, like, how do I win from a stalemate, basically. And then punish game is once you win, so once you hit them, how do you take advantage of that? Do you combo? Do you wait for them to tech? Do you bait out a spot dodge, etc.? So going to Ultimate. Ultimate is a game that's like really focused on neutral play, and I'm gonna come back to Melee in a little bit. But Ultimate is a game that's really focused on neutral play. So it's more like, it's more mind games and stuff. You're going to be playing way more neutrals in order to take a stock, so you're going to have more opportunity to do mind games and learn how an opponent plays, which is a good thing. It is really cool that in Ultimate you definitely can see how players are thinking and how players are reacting to getting beat or to winning more developed throughout the whole match. But going to Melee, Smash Brothers Melee is a game that's way more focused on the punish game aspect of it. Like, you get a much greater reward for actually winning neutral. I mean, you can even get a kill at 0% for winning neutral if you play a good enough punish game. And this is the part that I dislike about Ultimate, because the way that Melee accomplishes that is when you get hit, your in hit stun way longer, meaning combos are more likely to happen. And DI, directional influence, is way stronger, meaning when you get hit, you have more control over which way you get sent. So not only can you combo better in Melee, but you can also get out of combos better, which makes it a more fast-paced, combo-heavy game. And like I said earlier, as an aggressive player, that's something I really value. So I wish Ultimate would bridge the gap. They don't have to be Melee by any means, but I wish they would have bridged the gap and added a little bit more hit stun and a little bit more DI, so DI actually matters when you get comboed. Because right now combos are basically true or they're not. There's not too much mix up in Ultimate.
Yeah, for all if you've been back aired off stage by KK before, like, there is DI for it, but you have to be pretty immaculate to get out of it. Otherwise, you're just riding the surf, riding the wave to the blast zone. For example.
Can I follow up with that? Do you think that's why people think Melee is? Do you think Melee is a more fun game to watch, as opposed to Ultimate? Even though Ultimate has a better neutral game, so you actually have more options, and the same two characters theoretically can have more variety of gameplay as opposed to the same two, let's say Fox and Captain Falcon on Dreamland on Melee. Do you think that's more fun to watch in Ultimate, or do you think Melee's more fun because of the punish game?
I think Melee is way more fun to watch. I'm going to let T2 elaborate, but I think it's way more fun to watch.
Yeah, they both have things going for them. I would say Melee beats out Ultimate as a spectator sport because aggression and combos are just fun to watch. Like, knowing that someone can get 0 to death and that the game can be swayed so quickly is just more entertaining. But Ultimate Ultimate's got stuff going for it too. Like you said, there's an incredible amount of viable characters, meaning that you're going to have more matchups, which is fun to watch. And yeah, that might be it. I mean, Ultimate's a great game to watch on its own. It's just, it doesn't have that fast-paced adrenaline action that you're going to get from Melee.
That's fair.
For me, as to why I like watching it, and it's why I like characters like Ken and Pichu and Sheik, although I'm hot dog doo-doo at 2 out of 3 of those characters, is because as T2 was talking before, there's more hit stun and there's more DI. But when it comes to that hit stun, you can be a little more creative with how your combos and strings work by reacting off of DI. So you can take something that might look like a stray interaction that might not work that well and turn it to a lot more. I'd say great examples that players that do that are be like Mango, Axe, and Wizzy, who will just like find a stray up air or a stray nair, and it's like, oh, nothing really works here, but there's enough hits done that I can make something work here, and that becomes really entertaining to see. It's almost like seeing an artist, like 5 different artists, draw the same painting. They could probably draw it different, have different elements, different details and whatnot. Even though it's the same painting, it'll have different artistic elements to it, different creativity pieces to it.
That's how I feel with the banana every game.
No, that was beautifully worded. I couldn't agree with you more. And that is what, because in Ultimate, you see the same combos over and over. Either a character has combos or they don't. Like DK, again, he has the back air, and you're gonna see that time and time again unless people can get out of it. And I don't want to spend this whole podcast shitting on Ultimate because I do love Ultimate. It's a phenomenal game. But yeah, the creativity, and it's just another level of every game in Melee is different. No two game is ever the same. No, you're not going to see Joker doing up air into up smashes constantly. Like every time you get a kill, it's I don't know, it's insane. It's beautiful.
All right. I also love I kind of do want to stray a little bit away off topic. I do love Ultimate though, just 'cause I'm really good at neutral. I'm not that good at Advantage State. That's why Cloud's my best character. But speaking of playing this game, you've moved away recently from being a competitor. You're pretty solid season 1, season 2, coming in top 8 both times. And you've been you've moved from a solid player to a solid commentator. So my question is, does it feel different commentating Baddy Smash when you're not directly involved in the competition? You can look at it from an entirely neutral standpoint.
Um, I don't know if that aspect of it feels different. I guess when I was commentating and playing, I might have been a little bit more hesitant about what I would say, just to not give people more ideas how to play against me or take advantage of my weaknesses. But I will say it most certainly feels different to just be a spectator and not a competitor. I mean, I feel kind of washed, honestly.
We miss you, T2. We miss you.
I'm
at least
super
a top
thankful.
16 player.
I'm super thankful to still be a part of the community, though. I couldn't be more happy that I do get to cast, and I really do enjoy casting.
You're really good at it.
I appreciate that.
You notice things that a lot of people didn't notice that is happening mid fight. I kind of want to take it back to when you were casting with me and Joey. And yeah, you were bias casting, and you're like, did you notice when YIFF put the banana in Joey's hand so he couldn't stop him with the upper? I actually did know he had that banana and couldn't get me with the up air. So when you said that, I was like, damn, he was paying attention.
Yeah, that was a beautiful move, by the way. I had to point it out because he did fall. Like, he knew you. If you knew the banana, that was flawless because he tried to
Yeah.
up air you, and instead he threw the banana and got no reward for it.
I thought for sure no one would catch that because I saw him pick it up, but your eyes are quick, man.
That's the stuff I enjoy. I really enjoy as a commentator. I mean, I like doing the meme casts. I have a lot of fun doing it. But what I really love the most is actually trying to pick apart people's habits and their mental game as it goes on. Like, it's cool to see people start adapting as the match goes on. And our league is definitely good enough where you do see a good amount of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, casting. I mean, casting's just like watching esports with your buddy for the most part. Like, it's just fun. It honestly is. I will say, when I first started casting, I don't think I was very good, and I do think casters probably don't get enough credit. Like, good casters, especially like professional ones, don't get enough credit. It actually is. It's a skillful job, and it's harder than you think. Unless you're just naturally charismatic and really good at it, and you naturally work well with others. Because there is the partner aspect of it too. Like, and two people can be great together and maybe not as good with another person. Maybe they're both play by players or whatever.
Yeah, that's actually something that I've had to really come to terms with because I can speak really, really well in person. But when it comes to casting, I have to I feel actually kind of nervous, which is weird because I almost never feel nervous speaking in front of other people. So that's why I'm really glad that I found that at least one person I click with. I tend to click with Zed pretty well in commentating. But from there, I'm like, okay, this is the new person. I've never spoken to them. And then you get inside your head, like, I don't want to speak over them. I don't want to say too much. I don't want to say too little. There's a lot of intricacies to it that you don't really know until you're required to do it.
Yeah, for sure. I would say the biggest thing I had to get over was just being wrong about things. Because sometimes I'm gonna say stuff on stream that's wrong, and people in chat are probably they're gonna make fun of the way I pronounce wolf. But getting over that, that was my hump, man. You just gotta accept it. Like, I might be wrong as long as I sound confident. No one's gonna question me.
That's just chat engagement. That's all that is at that point.
Thankfully, we have a great chat in the Baddy League, so usually it's more entertaining than anything to read chat.
Can I hit you up with another question to get off this streaming section just a second because I might go back to it?
Yeah, go for it.
So besides Super Smash Brothers, what are some other games that you've been playing or at least caught your attention in the way they develop or mechanics are based on, or just anything that seems unique?
I think I said this before, but you definitely do start paying attention to details more when you start working on games. It's like anything. If you make music, you're gonna pay attention to the intricacies of it. But that's kind of a hard one. When you start making games, man, you don't have time to play them. So I haven't played much. The last game I played, okay, here's a good one. The last game I played was Katana Zero, which was a phenomenal game. And here's things that they did that blew me away. The gameplay, to start out, the gameplay is very intense, and it keeps it forces you to focus on the game. It's very quick, fast paced. At the same time, you have the choice to slow it down. And I don't know, it's just so focused. And the art in that game is phenomenal. It's a pixel art game.
Wasn't
But
that
it
the
did
game where you get one life and you're dead basically per level?
Yes. Well, kind of. You get one life, but you can rewind. So every time you die, it rewinds. But you can also it's like you have a cassette player in your hand. You can fast forward, you can slow down. When you die, it'll automatically rewind you. And it's cool because you learn where the people are, you learn what they're gonna do and how they act, and then you can execute it perfectly. And then once you beat a level, it plays it back to you. So you're incentivized to play it as cool as you can because you're gonna
Really?
watch it after. Yeah, it's
That's a
phenomenal.
really creative idea.
I played that game at like 2 o'clock in the morning. Lights were out. I had my headphones on, and the music as well. Like I just got so into it. It was so good. It's the kind of game you could probably beat in one night. But like the music kept me captivated. The music is phenomenal, and it goes really well with the game. Honestly, the story is incredibly simple, but it's so compelling. Like the characters are so compelling, or a character I should say is so compelling that you want to know more. Like they just hit every aspect of game making, in my opinion. Art, music, story, gameplay. Like it's just phenomenally put together, and it's a game I highly recommend to anyone.
I'm gonna have to give it a shot. Give it
Well,
a
yeah,
look.
developers of Katana Zero, write this man a letter because he made me buy it, so I just bought it. So cool.
Don't even have time to wait for the cast then. Need to
Yeah,
get it
fuck
now.
that. That's a great review. You sold me.
And it's pretty cheap. How much? Do you know how much it was? It's like $15
Oh,
or
I had
something.
$10
$20.
credit, so yeah, it was $15. So $5 going to you guys because of this guy.
This podcast sponsored. It's not sponsored by them, the developers though. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, just them individually, not their company. Just Pete, Tom, and Harry, as the dudes. All right, I have another question. This kind of takes back to where you were talking about the grabs, and there's like a little spark at the top of your jumps when you fast fall, all that kind of like visual information. In terms of how information is processed to the player, of how things are kind of going in the game, do you find it that small, subtle visual clues work better, or a bit more robust audio cues? Because like when in Smash, when you get that really sweet side smash or top smash, aerial, dunk, spike, whatever, it looks cool, but I also know it sounds cool too.
Yeah. Well, I guess you kind of have, it's a give and take. You want to convey information as good as you can, and sometimes like the death screen or the kill screen, whatever you want to call it, you're allowed to really go ham and just completely convey it and just to make it look cool or whatever. But sometimes you're not allowed to do that. Going back to small cues like fast falling, obviously you don't want it to be distracting to the player, so they had to make it really small, unnoticeable. Something that I guess there's two ways I would say. There's unconscious cues, which are things like the grab and stuff, and then there are conscious cues, which is like the death screen. I think I kind of touched on that too much to really go further into this question. I'm not really sure what else to say.
Can I double down on it then?
Go for it.
If you could design feedback, let's say you had the ultimate engineering team and you could provide feedback to the controller or the individual buttons, which would you prefer? Because I had a buddy say he'd rather have vibration feedback in the buttons when he hits a hit rather than the controller.
So I'm not exactly sure what you mean. Do you mean like for example, you have a tactical keyboard and they got the clicky keys and it feels really good when you hit them? Like is that the kind of thing you're talking about?
Kind of like the PlayStation 5 or 4 has that DualShock system in it. He says he rather have the DualShock in the triggers and not the controller itself. Because he thinks in terms of his feedback and how quickly the information gets processed, he thinks it's better if it comes through his fingertips rather than his hands.
Like the vibrate feature. Like
yeah.
Okay, that's actually pretty interesting. I would say he's probably dead on there. You probably would register it quicker going through the joysticks, but then you might have the benefit of it throwing you off. It might actually, because people intentionally don't play with Rumble because they think it might throw them off, or it might. Sometimes if you feel it rumble, you might press a button because it's you get scared or whatever. Having it in your thumbsticks might actually make that more of a factor.
Yeah.
I'm also just thinking of the engineering of it too. That has to be very, very, very minute, minuscule, especially if you're going to do it on the face buttons. A very minuscule motor to even make that possible.
Yeah, you would have to somehow like have small support structures and stuff to the small motors and everything. I was thinking when he told me that, my fingers when I'm playing a game get really sweaty, and if there's like a low vibration on the fingers, I feel like that's just gonna make them sweatier.
Yeah, I could definitely see that being a factor. I mean, you have your fingertips on the back of the controller when you play as well. So I honestly don't know if the thumbstick would give you more recognition than it would anyways.
I play weird, so I only have my ring finger and middle finger and ring finger on the other one. I use my index finger for the face buttons a lot of the time.
Yeah. I will say when it comes to Rumble, I think using it sparingly would be really good for games. For example, in Ultimate, like maybe just having it when you get hit, so every time you feel it, that I just lost that confrontation, so you can act quicker. Something like that would be kind of cool. Using it too much, it kind of loses its I don't know, its shock factor. You probably just start ignoring it, and I feel like it would just hurt you at that point more than anything.
All right.
So those happen to be just the questions we have for you, T2. You've answered them all greatly, and we thank you for your time. However, there are probably a bunch of questions we didn't ask, and I'd love to hear, is there anything that maybe we hadn't asked that you'd love to talk about in general?
Give me a second.
There you. We came prepared. Why didn't you come prepared?
He's literally given a question based on us not preparing.
Your questions were too good. I think you covered just about everything.
All right. And then lastly, if you watch the show, you know what's coming up. This is your chance to say anything to the world. You could say that you like the smell of burps more than farts. You could say, hey, check me out on XYZ platform on Twitter or Facebook. You can say, hey, Chai's a scrub and he's going to lose against Duds and he's going to lose against Blaze. Whether you want to shit talk, point something out, do whatever you want. This is your time to have your soapbox.
Those sound like pretty specific examples, Sir Chai.
Since you're not playing, you should pick one player in the bracket and just shit talk them for fun.
If I did, it'd be weird because he's here in the chat. I'll say I'm incredibly happy to have a community of people to be able to still play, as I'm getting older, to still just play competitively games. Like, I thank you to the production team and everyone that runs the league, especially thank you to the players. Like, it's just a phenomenal good time. And the last thing I'll say is count yourself lucky that I'm taking Smash as a hobby right now. Because when I come back, you guys better watch out.
Fact.
Slade throwing some shade, and we'd love to see you come back. In the meantime, this has been Chai.
And YIFF.
It's like
Thank you for turning in to this week's episode of the Baddy Smash podcast, the Baddy Cafe. And as always, no Johns.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to the Baddy Cafe.
The intro and outro music was produced by Headreaver, and this is a Baddy Smash production.